but I hope the stork won't fly down and bite my legs." A stork was just then standing near his nest on the house roof. So little Claus climbed onto the roof of the shed and proceeded to make himself comfortable. As he turned round to settle himself, he discovered that the wooden shutters did not reach to the tops of the windows. He could look over them straight into the room, in which a large table was laid with wine, roast meat, and a fine, great fish. The farmer's wife and the sexton were sitting at the table all by themselves, and she was pouring out wine for him, while his fork was in the fish, which he seemed to like the best. "If I could only get some too," thought little Claus, and as he stretched his neck toward the window, he spied a large, beautiful cake. Goodness, what a glorious feast they had before them! At that moment, someone came riding down the road towards the farm. It was the farmer himself returning. He was a good man enough, but he had one very singular prejudice. He could not bear the sight of a sexton, and if he came on one, he fell into a terrible rage. This was the reason that the sexton had gone to visit the farmer's wife during his absence from home, and that the good wife had put before him the best she had. When they heard the farmer, they were frightened, and the woman begged the sexton to creep into a large empty chest which stood in a corner. He did so with all haste, for he knew well how the farmer felt toward a sexton. The woman hid the wine and all the good things in the oven, for if her husband were to see them, he would certainly ask why they had been provided. "Oh, dear," sighed little Claus on the shed roof as he saw the good things disappear. "Is anyone up there?" asked the farmer, looking up where little Claus was. "What are you doing up there? You had better come with me into the house." Then little Claus told him how he had lost his way, and asked if he might have shelter for the night. "Certainly," replied the farmer, "but the first thing is to have something to eat." The wife received them both in a friendly way, and laid the table, bringing to it a large bowl of porridge. The farmer was hungry and ate with a good appetite. But little Claus could not help thinking of the capital roast meat, fish, and cake which he knew were hidden in the oven. He had put his sack with the hide in it under the table by his feet, for we must remember he was on his way to the town to sell it. He did not relish the porridge, so he trod on the sack and made the dried skin squeak quite loudly. "Hush," said little Claus to his bag, at the same time treading upon it again to make it squeak much louder than before. "Hello, what's that you've got in your bag?" asked the farmer. "Oh, it's a magician," said little Claus, "and he says we needn't eat the porridge, for he has charmed the oven full of roast meat, fish, and cake." "What?" cried the farmer, and he opened the oven with all speed and saw all the nice things the woman had hidden, but which he believed the magician had conjured up for their special benefit. The farmer's wife did not say a word, but set the food before them, and they both made a hearty meal of the fish, the meat, and the cake. Little Claus now trod again upon his sack and made the skin squeak. "What does he say now?" inquired the farmer. "He says," promptly answered little Claus, "that he has conjured up 3 bottles of wine, which are standing in the corner near the stove." So the woman was obliged to bring the wine which she had hidden, and the farmer and little Claus became right merry. Would not the farmer like to have such a conjurer as little Claus carried about in his sack? "Can he conjure up the evil one?" inquired the farmer. "I shouldn't mind seeing him now, when I'm in such a merry mood." "Yes," said little Claus, "he will do anything that I please." And he trod on the bag till it squeaked. "You hear him answer. Yes, only the evil one is so ugly that you had better not see him." "Oh, I'm not afraid. What will he look like?" "Well, he will show himself to you in the image of a sexton." "Nay, that's bad indeed. You must know that I can't abide a sexton. However, it doesn't matter, for I know he's a demon, and I shan't mind so much. Now my courage is up, only he mustn't come too close. I'll ask him about it."